What's up, witches? There goes the elusive Joe. Always in the background. What's up, guys? What's up? What's up, witches? Good morning, Betty. And other mystical friends. Yes. Good morning, Sabrina. Oh, I left my tea. Hold on. Gosh. It's tea and tarot, guys. Okay, we're back. Good morning, Sabrina. Did I say that? Good morning, good morning. What's up, witches? Welcome to Tea and Tarot. Good morning, Valentonia. What's up? Good morning, y'all. What is going on? Happy full moon. Happy Cinco de Mayo to folks who celebrate. I hope you all had a beautiful May Day, beautiful Beltane to start the week. I loved that the first of the month was on a Monday. That was nice. Thank you so much for the super chat, Betty. Cheers to you. Thank you, thank you. Good morning, Madeline. I was just thinking about you, my dear. Good morning, Maruta. What's up, witches? What's up? Welcome, welcome. We've got a Sag, Sun, Cancer, Moon, and Virgo rising in the building, it looks like. What's up? Do you guys like these wood wicks? I guess this isn't wood wick, it's a different company, but you know these candles that have the crackling wicks? Can you hear that? I don't know if you can hear that. But hopefully you can. It's very soothing. Morning, morning. I'm on a different streaming service this time, you guys, because if you were here a couple weeks ago for the new moon readings, we were having some trouble with our streaming. It was really scratchy and we couldn't hear, and everything was all messed up. So I decided to try a different streaming service. It's telling me that we have excellent connection. So let me know if that's the truth. It's so much better. Okay, good. Happy full moon, Jacqueline. Scorpio, Sun, Taurus, Moon, Leo rising. Hey. What's up? I think things are better. I think the connection is better. Let me know if it isn't. It's great on your end, Betty? Okay, good. Good. Okay, so we might go with this from now on. I was trying to figure out what the issue was. I think it was the streaming platform, so I was like, let me just try a different one. I like the Restream platform. I really love the way it looks. I love that you can get all of these different colored backgrounds and all of that stuff. I think a lot of the gamers and stuff use it to make their screens really interesting and things like that. But I do think it probably requires a lot of internet, to operate the backgrounds and all that good stuff. So I think that's what was giving us trouble. It was the only thing I could figure out because the internet was fine. So I decided to try something different as usual. Yes, good. No, you should not have to try to vibe. The vibe should be automatic. So good. I'm glad this is better. So yeah, shout out to StreamYard. This is the platform that I use for recording my BetterWitch podcast episodes. So I figured I would give this a try, and it seems pretty good. Hey, Ginger Snaps. Sound is great. Good. Ooh, matcha. Yum. We're getting a matcha tea in the shop. I'm really excited about all the stuff happening in the shop, you guys. I got to go shopping, which is great. I get to fulfill a lot of my own pleasures through the shop. So one of my pleasures is shopping for witchy things, which I get to do for the shop, which is wonderful. So I was doing some shopping, and we have some teas coming from a witchy shop called Muddy River Conjure, and they make their own teas, but they make like proper tea from Camellia sinensis, so black teas and green teas with other herbs and ingredients, and magical intention, and they're designed to either be drank just as tea, or used in tea leaf reading. So I'm looking into getting some tea leaf reading mugs for the shop, which is exciting for me. Yes, Valentonia, we do have more Coven mugs. We don't have many left. I want to say there's 5 at the most, I think. And we should have a couple of both styles, the purple premium roast and toast and the olive green high tea. And I don't think I'm going to restock them when they are gone. I think I'm going to start focusing more on the tea leaf reading mugs, and maybe a couple other types of witchy mugs. So we'll see. I feel like this is really like a Coven thing. So, but we do carry smoke blends in the shop, and we will continue to carry smoke blends. We have beautiful smoke blends from Puff Herbals. So the smoky pipe mug does make sense for the shop because we sell tea and we sell smoking herbs. So it makes sense. It's not like it doesn't make sense for the shop, but I don't know. We'll see. Yes, I pray that you get to visit the shop one day too, or that there's just one in your city. So let's pray for the expansion of HQ into every city. HQ, like one of the things that we say around the shop is HQ is where the witches reside. So there should be a place for the witches to reside in every city. So let's make that happen. So yes, we do have more mugs. Don't quote me on that. I want to say both styles are in stock. Okay, and then I wanted to share with you guys a flash sale that is going on in the shop. I figured I would share it with you guys. It'll be posted about on our Instagram, on the shop Instagram, on the shop's, mailing list and all of that good stuff. So if you are not already following my shop on Instagram at BronxWitch HQ, and now on TikTok, don't ask, but we're now on TikTok. So you can follow us on TikTok too at BronxWitch HQ. But follow the shop because that's where you'll get all the shop discounts and all of the sales and know all about the good stuff. But I like to do a flash sale in the shop every new moon and every full moon. And I just sort of pick some items that I want to feature or things like that. So today's feature is actually on all of the digital downloads in the online portal. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, you haven't been around for the last couple of weeks, my shop has been teaching classes in person that have been going really well. They've been selling out, and people have been asking us, when can we get access to these classes online? So we made it happen. We started an online portal, and now the classes and workshops that are happening at the shop are available to you online, which is really awesome. But a part of the online portal, there is also the new Coven community. So I'm going to talk a lot more about this tonight when I go live for high tea. Because yes, it's the full moon, so we're having high tea tonight. So I'll talk more about this when we go live for high tea, and I'll gossip all about stuff that went down, comments from people on YouTube that I didn't appreciate, but also insight that it gave me. Blah, blah, blah. I started a virtual portal. So we started a virtual portal at bronxwitch.com. So all of our classes from me, from all of the other shop witches, and all of that stuff can be available online. And not every class that we teach is going to be available online. We have some really cool classes that are interactive, like the class happening tomorrow, being taught by our shop reader Jay, where everybody's going to get a mini hidden altar box that looks like a book, and then you're going to get to decorate it and make an altar on the inside, and then you can hide it from people. It's cool, but that class probably won't be on the portal. It's purely interactive. So not everything will be on the portal, but most classes and workshops that we teach, the goal is to record them and make all the PDFs and downloads and ebooks and stuff that go with the classes available for you to download virtually. So if you want to take our classes and you don't live in New York, you can do that. So if you go to the online portal right now or anytime today and use the code New Moon, you will get 15% off of all of our digital downloads. So that's the Common Crystals download, which is a 2-page PDF with color pictures of 10 most common crystals and their properties. There is a 25-page Intro to Crystal Healing ebook. There's a 47-page ebook on pendulum magic written by our resident crystal expert, Alexis. What else is on there? There is my fire cider making ebook. Okay, so there are a bunch of really useful digital downloads, and most of the digital downloads also come with a class, or like you can take the class if you want to get the full class version. But all of the digital downloads that go with the classes I'm making available separately, because what if you just want a 5-page download of crystals to put in your book of shadows? You don't really want to take a whole class. So the digital downloads, most of them are available independently. And today and today only, if you use the code New Moon, you can take 15% off of all of the digital downloads. So I would take advantage and jump on that and download them all, and then now you'll have them forever, and it won't matter what they cost other people because you got them for a good deal. And you can do what you want with them. They're yours to have for free. Download as many times as you want, all of that good stuff. So they're really beautiful. They're all color. They're all so pretty, and very, very thorough and very informative. So yeah, use the code. Wait, why did I make the code New Moon if it's the full moon? That's the code anyway, so use the code New Moon. And yeah, you can take 10% off of all of the digital downloads. Yes, okay? And then if you're in the Coven community, oh, I know, I thought it was 15%. If you're in the Coven community, every month you get a discount, and the code for that, I'm not going to tell you, but that one is 15% off of all the classes in the portal for the whole month of May. So, and anything in the shop too. Yeah, it covers everything. So that code is pretty good. But you can also, if you're not in the Coven community, that is okay. You can also use the code New Moon, I guess, and take 10% off of your digital downloads. Yeah. Okay. You couldn't hear the candle at first, but now you hear it. Nice. It's vibey, right? Yes, I'm looking forward to high tea as well. That'll be tonight, just like last time. If I am able to get out of the shop, I should. Last time I tried to do this, I think both of my shop witches left their keys and all kinds of stuff went down. So it didn't happen when I thought I would. But if all goes well, as I intend, and it will, I will be able to leave the shop at a reasonable hour and not have to stay till closing, because the shop witches and readers will be in place doing that. And I'll be able to get here in time to go live around like 7, so it won't be so late. And yeah, high tea is fun. We enjoy cannabis during high tea if you'd like, or other herbs if you'd like. No pressure. You can just come and hang out. And I'm excited for tonight's high tea because I have some chisme, right? Some gossip. I want to talk about that comment that I got that I did not appreciate, because I think it does reveal something important. So I do want to talk about that. But good came from that comment, so we'll talk about that too. Basically, I was creating the online portal and considering moving the Coven into the online portal, and I wasn't sure if I was going to take the Coven off of YouTube and do that. And then this person's comment made me realize that, yeah, I should definitely do that, because YouTube is a space where people come for freebies, which is fine. YouTube is like the video version of Google, and so you don't expect to pay Google for anything that it gives you. So I don't think people expect to pay for stuff that they find on YouTube. So no matter what the quality of it is, or how, just no matter what it is, it's just on a platform where people feel like they should have to pay for things. And I can understand that, but I also understand that there are things that I provide that need to be properly exchanged in order for me to be able to continue to provide them. So I feel like YouTube maybe isn't the right space for that. And that person's comment just helped me to like see that. So anyway, I'll talk about that later too, but that was part of the motivation for the online portal was already in the works, but I wasn't going to move the coven over to the online portal. But that comment kind of helped me say, you know what? I think actually everything should be there. Everything educational for the witches, everything for your spiritual development, your magical development, your community building, that should all be in one place, and it should all live on the website. And YouTube can be its own thing. So that's over there, but I'll share that comment and like what I thought about it and all that good stuff. Tonight in high tea, also we'll talk a little bit about my Patreon, because I think I'm gonna start putting some stuff on Patreon. So not going anywhere, but high tea needs a new home because I realized that the online portal isn't really a space for it. The online portal is for classes and for workshops, and the Coven community is definitely like a hangout spot, but it's the hangout spot for all of us, for all of the shop witches, for all of the witches that are taking classes. It's really a learning, development, growing space. It's not an alley space. So I was like, wait, if I get rid of the YouTube membership, then where is my alley space? Like, where do I go to do stuff that I don't necessarily want to post completely publicly, but I still want easily accessible? Like, what do I do? And people have been hounding me to start a Patreon for the longest time. And I've always just sort of brushed it off because I don't really know the platform very well. But I have started following people on Patreon myself and have started, you know, being members of other people's pages and seeing all the different things that people are able to offer without it being like out in the open that they're offering it. So I really like that idea. I think that's a good space for things like high tea. You know, I'm trying to learn more about these platforms and what they allow and everything like that. And it seems like Patreon's a lot more friendly of a place, whether you're talking about cannabis or like whatever else you want to offer. So yeah, plus I have some ideas for some things that are definitely going to have to be behind some type of a wall, because I know YouTube will not be having it, and neither would Instagram. So, but we'll talk about that later. I have ideas. Yeah, so high tea is happening tonight at some point. Now, the real question is, and you guys can help me with this, we'll talk about it again in high tea. Maybe we'll do like a poll or what have you. But since high tea is potentially getting a new home, we get to decide what it's like. And I'm wondering whether or not high tea should be a continue to be alive like this, or should it be a Zoom so that everybody can talk? Thoughts? What are our thoughts? What do we think about that? Do you guys prefer watching somebody and like not having the pressure of being on camera, or do you prefer to be able to like engage? Because maybe high tea will become a Zoom and then everybody can talk. But sometimes I wonder about Zooms because I feel like that makes people feel like they have to show up and participate. And then I get you guys messaging me like, oh my gosh, I can't make it to high tea, like as if you have to be there. So I think the Zoom puts pressure on people to need to be there and like show up and interact. And like if you want to just chill and not say anything and not even have people know you're in the room, then Zooms are intimidating and lives are a lot more casual because you can just watch. So those are sort of my thoughts about high tea being a Zoom. Well, let's focus on what the style of the Zoom should be, Lauren, because I feel like every time, at least for me, maybe this doesn't happen for anybody else, but anytime I do anything virtual, literally the first question out of everyone's mouth is it going to be available for replay? Is it going to be available for replay? And it's like we live in this this energy with the internet now that it's like you don't have to actually be anywhere for anything. You can just get the replay, get the replay, get the replay. And it's like, let's be honest. Do you watch the replay? Because I put my replays through Zoom, through YouTube usually. Like if I do a workshop, if I do whatever, I make it available through YouTube. And let me tell you, no one ever watches the replay. I'm going to be honest with you. Nobody ever watches the replay. I can tell. I can see that. There's a reason why I use like YouTube links for replays of videos. I don't just like send out MP4 files or whatever. If I'm doing anything that has a replay, it's a link to a YouTube video so you can come back and watch. And one of the benefits of that for me is I get to see whether or not people are watching them. And I can tell you whether it's my fireside or workshop or whether it's tarot readings or whatever. Once it's done, people really don't go back and watch the replay. And I think that we tell ourselves that and we're like, oh, I'm excited to take this class. Let me buy it to have it, but then don't ever actually take it seriously enough to take it, which is fine. That's everybody's like prerogative, but it makes me less motivated to try to figure out ways to make replays available for people. Because I think they just like and this may not be you, my dear, but I think people just like the comfort of the idea that like, oh, it's going to be in my mailbox, but people don't watch them. Oh, yeah. Well, if you are watching something live streaming, regardless of the platform that they have or regardless of whether or not they're going to offer a replay, you can go back. So like for your situation, if you get a phone call that interrupts the live, it will be streaming typically on YouTube, so you should be able to go back in the live. Like, so even though it's live, you are able to go back if you miss something, I believe. But it looks like people are saying they like the Zoom idea. You prefer the Zoom idea. Okay. That is good to know. And yes, Zoom can be recorded. But what I would probably do is live stream the Zoom into YouTube. And so it'll either be available after or you can scroll back during the time of. So, no, Lauren, you might be a little confused, my love. Tea and Tarot, where I am doing readings for the Zodiac signs, is now. These are live. They will continue to be available like this. They will continue to be on the page. These are always available for replay. You can watch all of the ones, well, not all of the ones, I deleted the really old ones, but you can go back pretty far into all of the tea and tarots. I am talking about for high tea. And I don't do any readings, and there's no signs to look for. It's just a hangout session. So there's nothing to look through. It's not like an educational, it's not supposed to be, an educational time together. It's just a hangout session. So the question I was asking from people was whether or not they would prefer that it be Zoom or live, where it's just me on the screen, or would they prefer Zoom where they can come in? Right. High tea would be in the Zoom. Yes. So you wouldn't have to scroll through for signs and stuff like that, my dear. So, yeah. So it looks like people would rather it be a Zoom so that we can participate. So that's kind of cool. I know that people I like to watch lives, but I kind of watch them like TV. Like that's the whole point, is that I'm not there, and I get to just be like, lurking, and then if I want to drop something in the chat, I can. But if you guys want something more interactive, that sounds good. I think I have it set up to be a Zoom. Anyway. All right. Let's see. What else? I think that's all. Have you guys told me what we're drinking this morning? What are we having? You guys know my deal. Hi, tea. Except it's not tea, it's mud water. But I feel like mud water is tea, in my opinion. Like, it's chai, which is tea. And then there's mushroom powder in it and cacao in it. But that doesn't make it coffee, honestly. It's a coffee replacement, but to me, it still falls in the category of a tea because of the chai. But decaf coffee? I don't judge, Betty. I understand. Oh yeah, I should probably tell people what is happening here and who I am and what's going on. Welcome. Welcome. If you are new here, I am Allie, aka BronxWitch. I'm a tarot reader, Reiki master, and the owner of BronxWitch HeadQuarters, which is a spiritual shop and work share space in the Bronx, New York. And this is Tea and Tarot. We come together on the full moon and new moon, not always on the exact day, but sometime around the full moon and the new moon every month to pull cards for each of the zodiac signs. And we do that because even though I am not an astrologer, I have seen that astrological transits have a huge impact on my life. And so it made sense to start paying attention to it. And the moon in particular and the moon's phases and moon's transitions really impact me. So I tend to kind of set myself on the moon's calendar. And so our readings are also on that calendar. So around the full and the new moons, we come together to pull cards for each zodiac sign to get an idea of what this moon phase might hold for that zodiac sign, things you might want to consider, steps you might want to take to make the next couple of weeks better for you, issues or conflicts that might be percolating that you might want a heads up about, etc., etc. So I encourage you to follow astrologers, learn more about your own chart, and learn more about yourself. So we'll only talk a little bit about astrology in this session, but it will definitely come up. So we usually start there, okay? So I encourage you to take these messages for your sun, moon, or rising sign. When I listen to readings online, I like to listen for all three, and then I kind of put that together for myself to get a full message for myself. So I recommend that you do that. Whatever's your sun, moon, and rising message, pull that together to get an idea of what this full moon phase is going to hold for you. And then if you want to dive deeper, you feel like you have specific issues in your life that you have questions or need some clarity, then you can always book a private reading with me in person at my shop or virtually online, and the links to all of that stuff are down in the description box. Okay? If these messages resonate with you, then you can leave me a super chat, which is very much appreciated. Your super chats help to support this channel and keep videos like this completely free. And you can use the code NEWMOON for 10% off of all of the digital downloads in my shop's online portal. And you can find that at bronxwitch.com/online. Links in the description box again. You're having ginger tea. Oh, that's Sabrina. For a second, I thought it was ginger snaps. I was like, of course you're having ginger tea, ginger snaps. But you want to try the mud water? Yeah. Yeah, girl, make it yourself. Girl, make it yourself. Yeah. It may not be exact, but I'm sure it'll be similar, and I'm sure it'll be good. Make it yourself. Mud water's it's not crazy pricey, but it's not, I mean, it's going to be cheaper to make it yourself, period. Yeah, mushroom coffees are definitely real big in the game right now. Real big in the game. All right. I have a friend who drinks what she calls mushroom coffee, and I have no idea what it is. It might be mud water. That's one of the more popular mushroom coffees, but there are plenty out there. The Sisters of the Valley actually just created their own mushroom water, which is cool. Shout out to the Sisters of the Valley. They're the nuns in California that take care of cannabis. I don't know if you know about them, but you should definitely look them up. They are a collective of nuns. Basically, they're not like Catholic nuns, but they're nuns. And they have pledged themselves to care for the cannabis plant. And they grow cannabis, mostly CBD hemp. and they make medicine from it. And they do education, and they're awesome. They have a collective down in Mexico as well. And yeah, they're just super cool. They started making their own cannabis. I want to say it's a CBD mushroom coffee, but it might just be mushroom coffee. And they are so cute. I love them. They make little doll versions of themselves, smoking little tiny joints and like holding little Bibles and stuff. It's so cute. All right, we're gonna get into it. If you do not know how this works, drop your sun, moon, and rising signs in the chat. I'm gonna go through all 12 signs of the zodiac. Today, I decided to start with Taurus, since Taurus, we are in Taurus season, and we're going to go all around. So I encourage you to take the messages that resonate with you and leave what doesn't for the next person. I also encourage you to tune in to your sun, moon, and rising signs. And yes, this video will be available to replay if you can't stay for all three. But I encourage you to receive a message for all three signs and put them together to see how those messages will show up in your own life. If these messages resonate with you, then please do leave a super chat, or if you're rewatching this video, a super thanks for the energy exchange. Thanks, Spirit, for the clarity of the message. Take notes if you would like. I always think that's a really good idea. You guys know that I started wearing moonstone every full moon because I was taking notes. I was paying attention to how the full moon was affecting me and saw that it was having a negative impact on my emotions. And someone gave me the advice that moonstone is good for helping to regulate your emotions on the full moon. I started wearing one every full moon probably 10 or so years ago now, and I do it religiously because I could actually track the way it made me feel. So take notes on your readings, come back to them, see how the messages resonate, how they show up, and that is going to help you immensely. It also helps for those of you who are learning to read. Okay, so what is going on astrologically? As I said, I'm not an astrologer, but the big things that are happening at the moment is today is the full moon. So we have a full moon today, I think at about 1:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. Happy Cinco de Mayo if you celebrate. For me, it's really more of a happy full moon. What is my full moon ritual that I will be doing tomorrow morning? I'll be preparing for it tonight and getting ready and doing it tomorrow morning. That worked better for my schedule, but what is my full moon ritual? And then for extra credit, why am I asking you that? Let's see who recalls. What is my full moon ritual? And for extra credit, why am I asking you that? This should be easy for you guys by now. Nope. Good guess, but nope. Come on, y'all. Are y'all not processing this information? Do you come here to learn or no? Because this is a question I think I have asked now every reading for at least the last 3 months. So I've asked this question at least 6 times in the last 6 readings. And it's all the same folks. All the same folks. You're not alone, Lauren. You're not alone, though. There's plenty of other people in this room who are also here every reading. Thank you. Bing, 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 bing. Correct answer and extra credit goes to Valentonia. Valentonia says you take a bath. An extra credit answer, you continue to ask us to encourage more actual work. Thank you, Valentonia. The only one paying attention, perhaps. Cynthia, spiritual bath. You want us to start our own ritual. Yes. All right. I will give you credit for that too, Cynthia, as you came right in after Valentonia. Anybody else is just repeating what Valentonia and Cynthia said. All right. So Valentonia and Cynthia, thank you very much for paying attention and understanding what we are doing here. For those of you who do not know, I ask you guys what I do for my full moon and new moon rituals. Not to talk about me or my rituals, but to remind you of the importance of having rituals. Okay, because I absolutely understand that the witching life is cool and the tarot is fun and the crystals are pretty and all of that good stuff. But I would love for each of you to go beyond the point of just being consumers who tune into fun witchy things and people who are actually embodying the identity of witch and witchcraft in their own life, because that is a beautiful, powerful tool that you can use to create the life that you want rather than just watching other people living the lives that they want. Okay, and that's kind of what we're doing on the YouTubes. Love it, but we're watching other people live lives that we wish we had, and we can create that life for ourselves through witchcraft. And I'm telling you how to do it, and doing it is not watching me every week. That's helpful, maybe, right? But that's not how you get there. You have to develop your own rituals in order to commit to your practice and really begin to develop the skills you need to do it, you know? So that is why I remind you that I have a ritual that I stick to, not to be like, look at me, I have a ritual, but to remind you in case you have forgotten, in case you are not yet in the habit, to also engage in some type of regular rituals that connect you to yourself, that connect you to the energy around you, whether it's the earth's energy, the universe's energy, the energy of a particular deity, being, ancestor, etc. But regular rituals help you to do that so that we are witching. That's okay, Ginger. It's more important that you know than you prove to me that you know. Okay? So, every full moon, my ritual is to do a spiritual bath. Every new moon, my ritual is to fast and restart my body. But that does not need to be your rituals. I just mention it so that you have an idea of something that you could do that is fairly simple. And those are rituals that I do once a month. My full moon ritual is once a month. My new moon ritual is once a month, right? So because these things happen once a month, it's not a huge commitment, but it makes a huge difference. It made a huge difference for me in terms of going from calling myself a witch and just like thinking about it to being like, no, I am a witch. This is my everyday life. This is how I live, and how I live is different from other people who don't call themselves witches. Okay? That's my spiel. And so now we're going to get into these full moon readings. These are the full moon readings for the Zodiac, all 12 signs. I'm going to start with Taurus since we are in Taurus season. Aside from the full moon, we also have an eclipse that is happening, and that's intense. Full moons can be intense in the first place because, as I've mentioned before, when the moon is full, it is in the sign that is opposite on the zodiac wheel of the sun. So the full moon today is happening in Scorpio, and we are in the sun sign of Taurus. And whenever you have that opposition there, you're going to have some conflict. So the full moon can often be a time of high emotions, arguments, and just general conflict for people. That's how I felt as a bartender. The full moon would make me agitated. It would seem to make other people agitated, and my shifts would always result in some type of nonsense. So I started wearing a piece of moonstone on the full moon to help keep me clear, to help keep that energy from affecting me too much, and it really makes a big difference. So you too might be feeling some heightened emotions around this time, but what do we do about it? Because that's always the question for the witches. And are we casting spells? Are we making, are we doing things? I find that the eclipse is a time where I prefer not to do spell work, not to do any castings, to me, it's kind of like when you unplug a radio and everything goes blank and it starts over at 12 o'clock again. The eclipse is actually that time when the radio is unplugged. So because we are blocked from that flow of energy that we're usually receiving without obstruction from the sun or the moon, I don't like to do work during this time because it just feels like the energy, like there's no energy to get anything done. So I don't do work. What I recommend during eclipse time is for you to reevaluate, recalibrate, and reconsider so that when the eclipse ends and we get that surge of electricity that comes through, you can restart and be ready and be prepared and be ready for it, okay? Mercury is also in retrograde. Yay! I don't know about you, but the way this has been showing up for me this time has been just technology nonsense, just pure technology nonsense. Usually I don't have technology issues. I don't have issues. I don't know how to do a lot of stuff, but the things that I do on a regular basis, I don't really have problems with them. Usually I can figure them out. There are no problems. This retrograde has just been like weird thing after weird thing that I know is not something that I'm doing. They're just random. And I've had to just like breathe through it and just be like, okay, so this video that I spent 4 hours uploading just disappeared. Okay. It is what it is. Moving on, because I know what's happening. And so I know not to get too worked up and take it personally. It's just the energy right now. And I just put that project to the side and I'll come back to it when the energy is better. Maybe I shouldn't have even bothered with such a project knowing that it's retrograde, right? So just knowing what's going on helps us. It's not to pigeonhole us or be like, oh my God, now I can't go anywhere for the next 2 weeks because it's the retrograde. It's just good to know about the energy. So if we have the eclipse happening, kind of limiting the clear flow of energy, and then we have Mercury in retrograde also limiting kind of the clear flow of energy together, this to me really says the next week or so is a time to reevaluate and not do much of anything. So if there are big decisions that need to be made, if you need to make agreements, enter into contracts, make a decision about starting a new job or something, if you have difficult conversations that you need to have with people and things like that, I would probably wait. Till the eclipse has passed, and probably, especially with the travel or communication aspect, I would maybe wait until the retrograde is over, I think on like the 14th, so that energy is moving in a better direction and minimizes the chances for any snafus and issues and things like that. Because this is definitely a time where the energy lends itself more to being reclusive, being recharging, reconsidering how you maybe want to approach things, choosing your words carefully, etc., rather than taking a lot of action. All right. So if you haven't already, go ahead and drop your sun, moon, and rising in the chat. We're going to get started with the Taurus message. I'm going to first pull an oracle card for everybody. And then we're going to start with Taurus. Okay, so I am pulling from the Anatomy of a Witch Oracle by Laura Tempest Sackroff, and the card that came up for everybody is Pop It. Pop It. And I love Laura's art is just so cool. The 3 different types of Pop It that are here, we have the corn husk doll, which I've made several times. We have like a earth type doll. This reminds me of the poppets that they would make from the Mandrake root. That looks like a person. And then this is more of like a mojo bag type doll, sachet doll that's like wrapped up and tied up. But these are different styles of poppets. And poppets are an example of sympathetic magic. They are typically made in order to represent the individual that is being targeted. And the message that's coming through with this is that this is for us. So this is not about making a puppet to target an individual person, but more about creating a version of yourself that you can then honor and manipulate. And I'm also thinking of a saying that I heard a while ago, but that's basically about spell work. And the saying is like, when you cast a spell, the first person that you like cast it on is yourself. Like the spell is cast on you first. And so when I think of puppets, I think of them as effective ways to cast spells on ourselves. So you might spend this time of the eclipse, if we're not casting, actually creating a puppet, a doll, some type of a physical representation of what it is that you are trying to create in your life, or the change or manifestation that you want to make a reality. That would be a great thing to do during the eclipse and during this full moon. Give birth to a form of yourself or to some type of a representation of yourself. No casting just yet. This is just the creation process. So let's see what Laura says about the puppet imagery. Okay. So like I said, 3 different types of corn doll or puppets are on display. We have the corn dolly, we have the roots doll, and then we have a vibrantly colored embroidered fabric doll, right? Puppets have long been used in sympathetic magic practices to represent people or other living beings. They are generally for casting spells on the subject they are modeled after, to aid them or to work against them. These effigies can also act as ritual stand-ins and function as spirit residences. Puppets can be made from a wide variety of materials, including fabric, paper, branches, roots, leaves, flour, clay, wax, and pretty much any other substrate that can easily be fashioned into a form. From there, they may be stuffed with herbs, hair, or nail clippings from the target, clothing acquired from the person, or anything else that helps connect the puppet to its living or spiritual correspondent. Puppets can be used to deflect negative energy or issues, as well as guardians or guides. Okay? Puppets. So that is the message for the collective. We are engaging in some sympathetic magic potentially, and I'm letting all of you know, or reminding all of you, that a puppet is an effective way to cast magic on yourself. So if there are some changes or things that you want to happen in your life, to manifest in your life, that you're wondering, how can I do that? Creating a puppet is a great way to literally see in front of you what it is you are creating and what you are transforming into. Nice, Sabrina. Took time off to focus on your spiritual goals. Very eclipse energy. Yeah, the deck is beautiful. And the Mandrake Root puppet is a really cool idea. I've never actually seen a real Mandrake Root, like a full whole one. I guess, you know, they say they're really hard to come by now these days. But a little root doll is great. And that is great advice, for sure. Create a puppet. Puppets can be used to target somebody, but I really like the idea of using them to target yourself. Whether you use it as a container to house a spirit that serves you, or whether you simply use the puppet as a representation of yourself. If you want to lose weight, if you want to, you know, whatever really, you can take your puppet and use that to move the energy around yourself. All right, we're going to Cynthia, Sagittarius, Leo, Pisces, Ginger is a Taurus, Sag, Pisces. Hey, got the Pisces rising in the building. All right, so we're going to pull some cards now for each of the zodiac signs, starting with Taurus. This is your full moon in Scorpio, eclipse, reading. Start with Taurus. And I'm pulling from the Key Tarot today, guys. The deck that I am in. Key Tarot. Okay. I was being nosy. So, Taurus, the first card that I pulled is the Ten of Swords in the reverse for you. And I was like, okay, what is ending? And I pulled the Knight of Cups in the reverse. So, Taurus, we are definitely dealing with the end of some type of an offer, potentially a marriage offer, love offer, something like that. A relationship of some kind has come to an end that maybe was very forthgiving originally, but has now really tapered out. Okay, and the thing about it is with the Ten of Swords in reverse, I'm feeling like this is a situation that's very much done, and it's really kind of been done, and this may be just the process of actually letting it go, which is really wonderful because the full moon is a great time to let go. It's a time when our emotions are coming up anyway. So rather than stuffing them down and holding them onto it, this is encouraging to go ahead and just let it out. It just feels like you need to have like one last final cry about the situation, and you'll be able to fully accept that it is no more. But it wants to move forward from you. Your soul wants to let go of the attachment to the memory, the attachment to the past, the attachment to the way things used to be, and now you just have to say, okay, I'm gonna let it go, you know. One good cry, one last will help you. The Pop-It magic could be very helpful for you. We often talk about like cord cuttings, and we usually do them from another person, you know, where you're attached to somebody else. Pop-Its can be helpful in that type of work, some type of cord cutting work that fully detaches you from whatever it is that you're still holding on to or still wishing could be something better. And then interestingly, we have the swords in the back, and the Pop-Its very much making me think of like voodoo dolls and things like that. And we usually think of them as, you know, Hollywood has us thinking of them as like a harmful thing, but they can really also be used for healing as well. They're, you know, it's two sides of the same coin. So you might use a Pop-It to actually help you to let go and help you to heal from whatever it is that you need to release right now, because now's the time to let it go. It's leaving, and it kind of feels like you might just be sort of holding on. Let it go, Taurus. Let it go. Let it go. Gemini. All right, Gemini. We are also letting go. Okay, Gemini, we have the Death card here in the reverse, Major Arcana card. We have the Ace of Cups also coming up in the reverse. So I feel like there's a lot of emotion for you, Gemini. This full moon might be particularly emotional for you. We are coming up on your season, your birthday season, you know, is going to be the end of the month and into next month and things like that. And there might be some challenges coming up around that for you, because with the Death card in the reverse, it's sort of like you might be experiencing a really big change in your life. You might have a really big birthday coming up, like a 30th or 40th or 50th birthday or something like that. That's really significant, and a part of you is really dying off. And there's a lot of emotion and pain with that. But this is also an encouragement from Spirit to give yourself a lot of love, a lot of self-love, because this new version of yourself is really beautiful. And it's what you've been working on. You know, you've really been working on yourself. It may not have been super obvious to others, but you've been really working on yourself and growing and, you know, just sort of looking at yourself through a different lens. And the old part of you really has expired. You know, it's really time to fully lay it to rest. And it just feels like there may be some emotions around that, some joy, but also maybe a little bit of like that bittersweet type of a feeling. But all in all, you are definitely leveling up, and I would spend the next couple of weeks really leaning into that in preparation for your birthday season. Okay, because you can really emerge from your birthday season as like a whole new beast, you know, a whole new witch. But you're going to want to give yourself some self-love, some self-care as you, oh, look, it's me. That's my card, guys. Have you ever seen that? Yeah, I'm in this deck. Give yourself lots of self-love, lots of appreciation. Let those emotions come out if they do, and get excited for the new you. It's like right on the horizon. Cancer, 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 Cancer. Someone was a Cancer. Who was a Cancer? Yeah, definitely. We're going to see a lot of reversals here because of it being an eclipse and Mercury in retrograde, it's a lot of in here, reconsideration in here. It's not a lot of outward action necessarily. Okay, so Cancer, we have the Ace of Swords in the reverse for you, and then we have the Seven of Swords coming up right behind that. Okay, so it feels like for you, Cancer, there may be either an opportunity that didn't come through or a missed opportunity. This sort of feels like you were maybe hoping to be presented with an offer, or hoping to win or accomplish something. Maybe you were applying for a scholarship, or maybe you were applying for a promotion or something like that you are interested in obtaining, and you may not have been actually getting the results that you want, or there may be even a delay in the result or something like that. And this is sort of pushing you to figure out what you can do about it, because then following up from the Ace of Swords in the reverse, we then have the Seven of Swords. And so this feels like you are plotting how can you still get what you want out of this situation. It's not playing out the way you'd hoped. You're not getting the offers that you had hoped. And so this is the time for you to figure out, how do you still get what you want out of this? You might have to resort to some different tactics. You might have to resort to some tactics that maybe, you know, others would consider are a little bit shady or under the carpet, you know, or behind the back or what have you. But remember, good and bad are social constructs, okay? The universe has no concept of good or bad, just light and dark, back and forth. And so sometimes when we need to rectify a situation or get what we need out of a situation, we have to take actions that others looking at it might say that's wrong or that's bad, but was necessary to fix the flow of energy or what have you. So this might be one of those situations where somebody or something is denying stuff to you or delaying giving you what you want. Your success is like right there. You might have to get creative and find some other ways in order to get what you want out of the situation. And I would spend this eclipse time figuring out how to do that, not necessarily doing it, but making a plan of action so that when the energies go right, when, you know, Mercury goes direct and we're out of the eclipse situation, the energy is right for you to actually take action. But I would plan the action now. And if you've been asking yourself like, man, should I take things into my own hands? I would say yes. But plan right now and get prepared to take the action. This eclipse is about the final release from that old toxic life. Yeah, it definitely feels that way. Missy is dropping some astrological info about the eclipse in the comments. Check it out, you guys. This is for Leo. Okay, well, Leo, you have a very, what should I say? Like typical full moon Mercury retrograde message here. First of all, with the Ten of Swords, we have the release, we have the ending, we have the letting go and the moving on here, letting a very clear indication that a particular cycle in your life is ending or has ended. This is not coming up in the reverse though, like it did for, I think, Taurus. In the upright, it's still present. You haven't moved forward from it quite as much as it would be if this card had come up in the reverse. You know, when this is in the reverse for me, it's like, okay, this thing is done, but it's also like done, like it's been done. This is a lot more of a fresh wound. So you have cycles in your life that are coming to an end, but they really are coming to an end right now at this present moment. So you are dealing with the pain and the difficulty, you know, and the emotions and everything around accepting that this is over. And, you know, right now we're just kind of sitting in it. The Ten of Swords is not, it's not full of a lot of forward energy. I like to remind myself that the 10 is also the 1. So there is a new beginning here. There's always a new beginning underlying the message of this, but the feeling that I'm getting about right now for you, Leo, it doesn't really feel like there's a lot focusing on the next chapter. Right now, we're very much just dealing from the difficulty of the ending of this current one. It's like you're on the last page of the chapter, but you just haven't yet turned it, you know, but we're on that last page. We know we're on that last page. Now it's time to turn it. And we have the Mercury retrograde message coming through with the Six of Cups, all right? So do not be surprised, Leo, if you are contacted by people from your past, if you have past relationships, past old friends, old exes. I think Missy was talking about releasing from the toxic life. And I think, Missy, you're a Leo moon, right? So these past relationships that we've had, are definitely going to be a big factor in this eclipse and in this full moon. So for you, Leo, it might be necessary for you to give like one last final look over, one last final review before you turn the page completely into something new, because there's definitely the element of the nostalgia and the childhood memories or the past memories. I actually really like that the kids in this card are not like little kids, because oftentimes, especially when it comes to like romance, I feel like it's more of our inner teenager who's in charge than our inner child. Because when we were little, we probably weren't thinking that much about relationships, but when we're teenagers, that's all we can think about, right? And so I feel like that inner teenager energy is kind of being activated and saying like, okay, let's revisit this and decide if this is really done. And if we're ready to move on to the next chapter, but we need like one last look over of everything. Okay? And that last look over might not be inspired by you. You might get contacted by somebody, former job, employer, etc., that brings back up those old issues so that, you know, the universe can basically test you and say, are you ready to turn the page to the next chapter? Here's one more thing to keep you on this page, in this chapter, right? So be prepared for that. Yes, my diary keepers, I hope all of you at this point are keeping a journal of some kind, Book of Shadows, Book of Mirrors, and Missy is recommending to go back to November 2022, the previous eclipse season, to see what you were working through, because now we're full circle from that cycle. Leo rising, born during a Mercury retrograde. Okay, yeah, so that message for you might really be, you know, very relevant. All right. Libra. Mm. All right, Libra. Well, it's a brand new day. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. I hope you're ready. Okay, we have the Wheel of Fortune for you in the reverse and the Fool in the upright. Okay, another major arcana double whammy. It definitely feels like you are coming out of what has maybe been a little bit of a down period for you. Things may not have been as positive as you would have liked in this cycle of whatever you are going through. This feels work related, Libra. So obviously not all of you. This will resonate as a job conflict, but I feel like for at least some of you, this is kind of a job type of a feeling because it feels like, the Wheel of Fortune has a lot of reference to like education and knowledge, the tarot, and I do that for a living. So that to me, it feels like work. So it feels like career wise or job wise, things at work have not played out the way that you wanted to. You may have been in a down period. You may have been looked over for a promotion or not gotten a raise that you wanted, or your boss might be just like really bearing down on you. For whatever reason, it feels like you're coming out of a not so great period related to your work and your work product. And then we have the Fool coming here as like the very clear indication that we are starting over. So you might not just be leaving a job or something like that. You might actually be considering a complete career shift, because the Fool tends to be starting over. But whether we're just looking for a new job or we're doing a complete career shift, the time is right. The time is right. You really could get very few combinations of cards that are a better indication that this is the right time to start over and start fresh. And if you are wondering whether or not that is the thing that's going to change how you're feeling, because it feels like there might be some like depression and anxiety around this, the answer is yes. Yes. It's not you, it's them. If you got out of there, you would feel 100 times better. Period, point blank. And this is saying no matter where you're going. The Fool comes up when Spirit wants you to take the leap and doesn't really care about where you're going to end up, and is encouraging you to not care about where you're going to end up. This is not the time to try to pick the perfect landing place. This is the time to pack your shit and go. Okay? And the rest will play out, but you've really hit a bottom point at this place, and it's not going to turn back around. Your best option is to go. Now, lining that up with what we know about the astrology going on right now, I wouldn't necessarily put in my resignation letter today, right? I would make the decision that I am going, and I would spend this eclipse and this Mercury retrograde period as it fades out to craft my words, to think about how I want to exit, to think about how I'm going to start over. And then when the retrograde breaks, I would then sit down and have the conversation or put in the resignation letter or whatever. Thank you, Missy. I appreciate that. You're not late, Linda. Welcome. Virgo. Virgo. Okay, Virgo. This is definitely a reclusive rest time for you. This eclipse, this full moon, really is a time to be at home. Nine of Cups here in the upright, caring for your space, making sure that you are fully comfortable, making sure that everything is in order, nice and neat and tidy. You know you love a good cleaning day anyway, Virgo. So definitely make sure to incorporate something like that in this weekend or in the next upcoming week for yourself. That's going to be very helpful because Spirit is saying you need to take a break, a rest. We have the Ace of Swords again up in the reverse. So for this is missing out on opportunities on purpose, okay? So this is maybe saying no thank you to invitations to go out, big ideas to start new projects, all of that good stuff. We need to kind of tend to home for the moment. We need to make sure that our space is in order. We need to make sure that our ducks are in a row and that we feel really comfortable, that we are really cared for, that there aren't any loose ends or things that we still need to take care of before we get started on anything new. And this is wonderful because, like I said, I don't start new things on the eclipse, and we are also in Mercury retrograde. So many would say that you wouldn't want to start anything new then either. So the retrograde ends on the 14th. That might be a better time for you to worry about starting new projects and things like that. For now, I would work on getting all of my ducks in a row, getting my space cleared and cleaned out. You might be wanting to create a new office space for yourself or clear off your desk. Maybe rearrange your furniture so that you can really do what you're going to need to do with this project that you've got percolating. Do we? Yeah, we have a lot of Pisces rising in this coven, really. I saw a couple. Sabrina says this is hitting hard, helping me make that decision. Good. That's the idea. That's the idea. All right. Scorpio. Scorpio, this is your full moon, my dear. I love this juxtaposition of the two figures and even the Roman numerals of the 6 and the 4. But Scorpio, you have the 6 of Wands followed by the 4 of Swords. All right, so it's like battle and rest. Battle and rest is the energy for you. You have two messages here that are lined up with each other, and neither one of them is a balance card, but the two of them together, that is what I'm feeling here. This is about balance. You have to show up and show out during the day, and then at night you need to make sure that you are getting your rest. Okay, if there's an imbalance here, you are going to struggle through the next couple of weeks. Okay, Scorpio, you're really going to want to have a nice, tight schedule in place. That is going to help you to take on whatever challenges you need to deal with in your present life. So whether it's work, whether it's home and family, you've got some challenges that you are overcoming at the moment. The 6 of Wands shows that you are victorious, though. So you are overcoming them. You are challenging them. You are tackling them, and you're doing a great job. But you want to make sure that you are also balancing that with a proper amount of rest so that you can get up and do it again the next time. Try not to get so carried away with whatever you're working on and mastering it and all of that good stuff that you don't take breaks. Okay, because that could be very detrimental for you. All right, so find a way to take breaks from all of the effort and the energy that you are expelling right now, because you're doing a great job. You just don't want to run out of steam. So the rest is going to be really important. Keeping the showing up and resting in balance for the next couple of weeks, super, super key for you. Scorpio. Super key for you. Hey, Peter, welcome. I think I sent you a message on Instagram, Peter, from the shop page. You have mentioned a number of times that you're interested in our in-person Reiki classes, which are coming back around the weekend of May 19th through the 21st. So I sent you the information for that, and I hope to see you in class. All right, Sagittarius. Hi, Catherine. Welcome. Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius. So you also have the Nine of Cups, but this time in the reverse, as well as the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. The Nine of Cups for you is really, in a lot of ways, the opposite. It's not always the case that like your reverse card is an opposite message, but that is what's coming through here. For you, this might be more of like a moving of places and a moving of spaces. So you might be considering it's like an upheaval. It feels like, you know, you might be uplifting yourself, like uprooting, I guess is the word, uprooting yourself from where you previously were. Because with the Nine of Cups in reverse, it's almost like there's a little bit of discomfort around your physical space. So your physical space might not be big enough. It might not be laid out properly enough. Maybe your kids still live at home with you and they're trashing the place or whatever. You have noisy roommates or something. But the Nine of Cups in reverse, the energy that I get around this is a feeling of like not full comfort in your space. So, and then following that up with the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, it's like, okay, we might be making some investments. You might be remodeling your home. You might be putting some money into relocating completely to a different home. You might be building onto your home. But with the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, we're definitely spending some money, making some time investment, some investment of actual physical something into the project of like uprooting our home life or our space. And home for you might just be, you know, might be a bedroom, right? You might not own a house. You might be a roommate, or you might live with your parents, and so it might be just your physical space. But whatever that physical space is, there's some discomfort there that needs to be addressed, and it might need some time or some money investment into it in order to make things comfortable for you again. And this is a good time with the eclipse to maybe figure out what that is. What am I going to invest? What am I going to move? What am I going to change? How am I going to do that? And then get yourself ready later on in the month to actually take action. But yeah, there's just discomfort in your physical space, Sagittarius, that you are going to want to put some energy or some effort or some resources into figuring out, because it feels like as long as that discomfort is present, there's not going to be a lot of room for much else. Missy says, yep, I want to move out west, so on point. Oh, yeah. So that, like, discomfort is very present. Like, I could feel it. My body just wants to, like, get a new chair. Okay, so some planning into that. And some investment will be required. Capricorn. Capricorn. Knight of Wands and the Moon. Well, you know, no surprise here, Capricorn, you want to talk about work. Yeah, so Capricorn, we have the full moon coming up, very clear for you with the moon card, flanked first by the Knight of Wands. So, like I said, not surprising, Capricorn, always in the bag, always wanting to talk about work. So this very much feels tied to career, work, professions. But there is an offering on the horizon that's coming that maybe feels like there is some uncertainty around it, and you're sort of waiting for a sign, waiting for an indication that you're going to get to move forward with this opportunity or with this new project that you have been wanting to cultivate. It feels like that message comes through for you around this full moon time. So, within the next few days, I would expect to get some news about that, or some insight about how you can move forward with that project, whether you're going to move forward, who you're going to be moving forward with it with. So much is going to come to light. Much is going to become clear through this full moon. The full moon happens at exactly 1:30 today. So maybe it happens today. But sometime during this period, what you want to do with the project that you have in your mind, that you're interested in, is going to become clear. Either someone's going to reach out to you with information, or the green light to go ahead and move forward, or in some other way you will find the information that you need to give you the go ahead. Because it sort of feels like you're waiting a little bit to get started on something, and you need information, or you need clarity, or you need somebody's permission or something to be able to actually move forward. But it's like it's right there, and this full moon is going to help illuminate that and bring that forward, whatever it is. Hello, 7 drunken mermaids. And you do need a chair. Yeah, I felt like I needed a new chair. Been shopping for one. Wayfair. They say they be smuggling kids, but until I have some proof of those deals, can't beat them. Okay? Hit up Wayfair, yo. Okay. Aquarius. You're so good, Allie. Waiting for military orders for moving, waiting for that clarity. Oh, yeah, that's what it felt like. Just like, come on. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Can you guys hear that, by the way? On your end, it might just sound like thunder in the distance. But I wonder if the sound picks it up. Can you guys hear upstairs? So I have this piece of crap who lives upstairs, and he has like pizza crap friends and children. And I guess they've never lived indoors before. So they have a really hard time understanding how to like walk in apartments. And they just run like beasts all day long. It's terrible. They suck. I haven't fixed myself to do anything about it. Okay, though we know I could. But I haven't fixed myself to do anything about it just because there are children in the house. Because if it wasn't, I would have already done some stuff. But they're little kids, and I don't really know how that's going to play out. And I don't want to come in the apartment, come in the building 2 weeks from now, and I just see a couple little kids on crutches. I would feel really bad. So I'm like, because it's kids are going to do things, and you shouldn't necessarily send spirits to break their legs every time they do things. So I'm going to allow it for now. Anywho, let me know if you can hear them. If you can't hear them, then it's fine. As long as it's not disturbing you guys, then we'll allow it. But it's just like, really? Have you never lived indoors before? It's only been barns before now? It's wild. Anywho, where are we? Aquarius. Hi, Adriana. Welcome. All right, Aquarius. So you, my darling. Let's get back. Get back. All right. So Aquarius, your new start already happened. We were talking, I think it was with Libra, who also pulled the Fool card. We were talking about taking that leap. But you have the Fool in the reverse, as well as the King of Wands. So here, this connection of energy is very comfortable. Very comfortable and very thriving. So Aquarius, if you were in search of a new space, new place, new home, new job, whatever, feels like home for you, where you spend a lot of your time and a lot of your energy and effort. If you were looking for something new, it feels like you have settled on that. If you have questions about whether or not this is the right place for you, it is. This is some place where you can stop and spend some time working on your growth, which feels like it's already doing really well. So this is an opportunity for you to really sit in that. It feels like these are related to your creative pursuits, your passions, or your hobbies. So Aquarius, you may have figured out a way to turn your passions and your hobbies into a moneymaker, into something that you can live off of or build a strong foundation on. So you might be like a content creator or online course maker, somebody who an artist of some kind, somebody who likes to, has passions, has hobbies, has interests, has creative pursuits, and is maybe starting to figure out how to actually make a living from those things. The King of Wands is definitely passionate about his passions and his creative pursuits, and he's a lot more artistic than the other kings, but he is still a king. He is still a part of the formal structure of a formalized society. Okay, so this is you pursuing your arts and your passions, but maybe doing it within the bounds of capitalism, patriarchy, all the stuff. How do I figure out how to turn my passion, my creativity, my pursuit, my art into something that I can pay bills off of in this real world that we live in, that has this structure that I don't necessarily support, but I have to navigate through. So the King of Wands is really good like that, because he's creative and passionate, but also is a part of the patriarchy. So he gets it. You know what I'm saying? He's a little different, but he gets it. And that's great energy for you as you turn your creative passions and pursuits into something that is stable, So this is a great time to work on that. I would just build on things. I would just be working on my content for the next week or two. Just working on my content. Just being fully at home in the new space I created for myself. That I found myself. Whew, Pisces. Okay. Not for us. Pisces. That's for us. Why are you jumping all over the place, Pisces? What do you have going on here? Okay, well, you just jumped right out of your own card, Pisces. Here we are, the fish with the Page of Cups. Holding the fish. There you go, Pisces. Jumping out of the deck. Jumping out of the cup. What's got you all wild up? Huh? We have the Page of Cups for you, Pisces. And then we have the Ten of Swords in reverse. I think this is the third or fourth time now that the Ten of Swords has come up for us. Not surprising. It's a full moon, and it's eclipse, and it's a full moon in Scorpio. So wanting to end things, dead things, release things is something that we are all feeling collectively. But individually, specifically, Pisces, you are really in a mood of release and letting go, okay? Ten of Swords in the reverse, done, dead, and done. This is things that maybe were a little bit upsetting at first, but are now over. And then we have the Page of Cups. So you might be letting go of like a young, new relationship, or you might have been flirting with some ideas, playing around with some ideas that didn't really come to be and had to be ended. They were sort of immature, or they weren't fully fleshed out. They weren't fully developed. And it's time to just go ahead and let them go. They might be a little bit too new, or they might be too experimental for people to understand, or there just may not be enough for you. You just may not be ready to take on this type of a challenge. Okay, no offense. It's not an offensive thing. It's just, it's important to know that so that you don't waste your time going down a path that ultimately you're not really ready for. So you might want to go back to the drawing board a little bit, Pisces, and say, okay, what do I need to do in order to be better equipped to do this thing? Do I need more education? Do I need to work out? Do I need more money? You know, what is it that I need? Because I am a page in the situation, and I really need to be something more like even the Knight, so that I can start taking some action rather than just thinking about it. It's a lot of idea. it's not really being ready to actually execute the idea. So the idea needs to kind of be put to rest for the moment. Okay, so you may have had that. But the Page of Cups is also about new sparks and new things as well. So letting go of this old idea is probably going to free up your mind, free up your resources, free up your time for something new. So I know it may not be the most fun to accept that this other idea is not going to pan out and it's time to put it to rest, but you are going to be freeing yourself up for better ideas, new ideas, things that you can actually execute. So in the long run, you really are doing yourself a favor. Also, and obviously this is only going to apply for a very small group of you, but there is a message here of the ending of a new something. And for some of you, this could be a birth. Okay, so for some of you, this could be the decision to not go forward with a pregnancy. Okay, you might have gotten the news and have decided that you are ending that, or you may have had troubles in the past and are moving on and healing from that so that you can prepare yourself for another attempt that will prayerfully be more successful this time around. And Spirit is saying we need to address what in your body may not have been ready for this. Okay, so we will need to let go of the pain of our past lack of success and then prepare ourselves for something new. So we want to look at where we can strengthen ourselves to actually support this new life, this new seed, this new idea. Okay, so some of you will be not moving forward with the birth. Some of you will be preparing the space for birth. All right. And is that the case? Don't a lot of babies get like conceived around this time? Or is that Valentine's? Hello, welcome Black Women Stand Up. All right, last but certainly not least, we have Aries. Ooh, let me check my phone to see if everything's okay at the shop. Shop Witch Alexis is there this morning and should be opening, and I don't see any emergency text messages, so everything should be good. Woo-hoo. Can you hear that? I just want to know if you can hear it. Hello, Shantanu. Welcome. All right, Aries. Hey, it's Elliot. I know a couple of people in the deck, so it's funny when they come up. All right. Aries. Listen. I don't know what's going on with your coin, okay, but we got to get it together. And now is the time to get it together, okay? Because we have the Two of Swords coming up in the reverse, as well as the King of Pentacles. There's Elliot. Shout out to Elliot. Coming up in the reverse, okay? I don't know if you all see what I see, this very interesting juxtaposition of the two figures seated on the chair, both in the reverse. It's like we're having a conversation here. We have the dark sky, the light sky, the water versus the earth. They're very much related to each other, creating this sort of feeling of like you have some decisions that need to be made, all centering around not just like the money in your wallet, but your overall financial picture. The King of Pentacles is not just about money. We're talking about our wealth, our financial stability, our ability to make decisions, to interact with the rest of the world, to stand on our own 2 feet, specifically financially, and to be able to do that in a way that maybe even supports others. So you might have children or family members or pets that are dependent on you, and you're kind of having a hard time right now with both of these cards in the reverse. It feels like there are choices that you are making that are not the wisest, and they may be leading you to lose not just money, but lose wealth, lose opportunities for really sustaining long-term wealth for yourself. So you might be making like it's one of those things where it's like, oh, I'm paying for things that I can afford right now, like, because I have the money right now, but I'm not thinking about in the long term what other debts I have or what other money is coming. So you're making decisions in the moment that are not necessarily helping you in terms of the long term and the forward goals. We have a sense of like not being able to move forward, not being able to do things because the money's not there, but then you have to spend money to get there. It's just like, it feels very cyclical and it feels very unhelpful. And so this full moon would be a great time for you to reevaluate all of your finances and reevaluate your financial choices that you are making. And also with the Two of Swords in the reverse, what just came through is stop making excuses. Like, you are not a victim. It feels a little bit like you are telling yourself that you are the victim here because so-and-so won't give you this, or you don't have that, or you weren't born with this, or whatever. And you're kind of just sitting in the situations. The Two of Swords is very much, she's a victim in a lot of ways. And she's a victim by choice because she's totally free to get up, take her blindfold off, and go do whatever the hell else she wants to do with her day. But she's standing, sitting there with these swords as if she has to be. And like nobody's making her. So if she feels trapped and like she has to sit there, that's just something that she is telling herself. She really could move forward, and she's got 2 swords in her hands. So you have the mental ability, you have the tools, you have the weapons at your disposal to make better choices and rebuild your financial self, and you're just not. So what you can do during this time is use this time to work on those things, and some type of puppet magic might be helpful. You might need to make some type of a physical representation of yourself in order to help you make better choices. If you have like addictions or compulsive behaviors that you tend to feed into that cost you money, maybe you drink, or maybe you like to go shopping, or like whatever, and you find that you're not able to tell yourself don't do it. Like, when you get to that point, that's when you have to say, okay, this is a problem and I need help. Because when I tell myself don't go shopping, or I tell myself don't buy another bottle, or I tell myself this, even though I tell myself I'm not going to do it, here I am standing online buying this thing, and I need help. So you might want to call out for help and ask people for help. But there are tools at your disposal. So that may be people around you, services, programs, etc. But you need help. You have access to it, and you're just not wielding it in your benefit. So I implore you to use this full moon eclipse time to sit down and look at what tools are available to me, who can I turn to for help, because I need to nip this situation in the bud if I am going to have any type of financial stability. Yes, you must have missed Leo, my dear, because I mentioned, I was like, oh, aren't you a Leo moon? I thought you were a Leo moon, but you're a Leo rising. But yeah, I did mention it. So we did do Leo. Yes. Lauren said, oof, 2 oof readings for me in a row. I'm glad they resonate. All right. So those are the 12 zodiac signs. Taurus through Aries, okay? I encourage you, like I said, take your sun, moon, and rising messages and pull those together to get a really good idea of what this full moon phase will hold for you. But if you would like to go deeper into your own personal situation or would like a private reading, the links for that should be in the description for this video. You can also use the code NEWMOON, because I made it new moon this morning, for 10% off of all digital downloads on my shop's online page, which I definitely want you to check out. Become a member, join the online portal. All of my online classes and my fellow witches online classes and digital downloads are available there. And all day, just today, you can take 10% off of all the downloads. So just rack them up, because they're yours forever once you download them. Yes. All right, you guys, it's time for me to go witch. Isn't it like, can't you tell the glow up? Can't you tell the change from like a year ago when I was like, okay, oh my God, I gotta go to the shop. Actually, our high teas or our tea and tarots last year, a lot of them were from the shop because I just never left. So I was always there, and it was just easier to do them right from the shop because I would get there at like 8 in the morning, and oh my goodness. It feels so wonderful to be able to do this from home, knowing that I have someone at the shop opening for me and that all is well. It's a beautiful feeling. It's a beautiful feeling. Yep, you can definitely rewatch. Yes, thank you guys very much. Thank you so much, Ginger Snap, for the super chat. I appreciate it. If any of you feel like the message you received resonated with you, I know a few of you said that it did, please do leave a super chat. That is how this reading is able to be given for free to the collective, so I appreciate it very, very much. And tonight I will be going live for a little high tea, and I think it's going to be a Zoom this time because that's what you guys said. And we're going to talk about some YouTube comments that I got. We're going to talk a little bit about the future of high tea, where it's going to be, and we're going to talk a little bit about Patreon and whether or not we want to do some stuff over there. So fun stuff tonight. Bring your herbals, whether you plan on smoking them or drinking them. Either one is fine. And I will see you guys tonight around 7. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Leave your comments down below. Don't forget to like this video on the way out so that the next witch finds out about it. # witches helping witches. And I will see each of you in the next video. Blessed be. Bye.